Alright. What is up, What is up, guys? This is We Love Gaming. Today we're reacting to The Only Way to Survive Fallout, The Science of Fallout. Austin posted this, I think, yesterday. If you... I don't care at this point. I'm not going to try this again because I literally spent maybe 5 minutes trying to figure out the best... Okay. Yeah, I spent 5 minutes trying to figure out the best audio quality for this. And literally 10 all the way to 18 sounded the exact same. So I don't care at this point. But whatever. This please like the video, subscribe if you want to see more. Comment down what you want me to react to next, and that's pretty much it. So let's just get into this.
Dear Bethesda, hi, it's me, Austin. I got depressed for no reason that I can think of. Probably has nothing to do with the fact that I've been more or less locked inside my tiny home for 6 months, not able to work anywhere other than my messy desk. At least my hair is growing out nicely. Although, even though I left the awkward stage that everyone talks about, I went right into another one. Nobody
I remember having hair similar to that. Let me...
talks about, I went right in.
Yeah, back in 5th grade, I believe, my hair was so long, it was literally poking my eyes. I never had my hair that long ever again. Never.
Into another one. Nobody told me that there were going to be 2 awkward stages. What the heck? This is not fair! Anyway, where was I? Oh, right, my Zoloft not working too good. So, I took a break from my worries and played some Fallout. Actually, quite a bit of Fallout. I lost track of time. What year is it? Oh, still 2020. Okay, so I didn't actually lose track of that much time. Anyway, the video, the episode. I'm here, focused. Come on, Zoloft fumes. Get me to that finish line, okay? About me. I got long hair, don't care, and I really like survival modes when they're implemented well. I love it in Minecraft so much that I only play on hardcore mode, and nothing is more immersive to me than survival style modes in the Fallout games. If I'm being totally honest, I have to say that I do think it's a lot more fun in Fallout New Vegas than it is in Fallout 4, but every time you...
I've only played 2 Fallout games, Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. However, I have only started to play Fallout 76, and I have not beaten Fallout 4. In fact, I've actually had to restart my game multiple times. And mostly because, like, I'm supposed to talk to a character. Yeah, too late. They became my partner, so I can't talk to them. So I had to restart. Thankfully, I got the cryo mine, not the cryo mine, the cryo later, finally.
Bring up Fallout New Vegas, the comment section goes berserk, so I will not be mentioning it. The game that I won't be mentioning, for the record, is Fallout New Vegas. I don't know why I like survival mode so much, honestly. Maybe it's the role player in me, the one that has a headcanon for every single character he makes in every single RPG ever. Although, for some reason, all of my Fallout characters always end up being like weird post-apocalyptic cowboy shooty McShoot men who shoot their problems instead of like nerdy science boys. I wonder what that says about me as a person. In any case, I really like the experience of digging through the rubble for safe cans of beans and bottles of dirty water. It just brings me right into the irradiated wasteland setting. I also have a little bit of a fascination with doomsday prepping because, like, ever since I saw Castaway as a kid, I've been perpetually worried that I'm gonna end up stranded on an island somewhere with no resources and be forced to survive for who knows how long. And for years, slowly, I've been been accruing a specific set of skills and a knowledge base that I will quite literally never get to use. So I'm going to put all of this useless knowledge to good use by conferring it to you. Because if I disseminate this information among the masses, maybe, just maybe, it'll make a difference, and all this stupid nonsense I've been filling my head with won't have been for nothing. Okay, so how to survive in a nuclear apocalypse. You've just stepped out of a vault. It's either 10 years or 200 years into the future, and frankly, it doesn't make that much of a difference either way because your concerns are a lot more immediate. Survivalists use a quick rule of thumb to assess their priorities, and it's one of the key things that keeps them grounded in stressful situations. And this rule is called the Rule of Threes, and it goes a little...
Food, water, and air. You'll die within 3 minutes of not having air, 3 hours without water, and 3 days without food. I remember that from Where Will You Go to Survive the Zombie Apocalypse from Matt Pat a few years ago. I think that was probably 5. Yeah, I don't know. Definitely, no, it was not 5, but it was something like that.
Something like this. You can survive 3 minutes without breathable air or in icy water. You can survive 3 hours in extreme weather unprotected. You can survive 3 days without drinking water, and you can survive 3 weeks without food. This list is a quick way to get...
Well, I remembered it from back then, so obviously it changed into what it is.
Gauge what it is you need to do in a survival or extreme situation, and is listed in descending order of importance. For example, finding food is a really, really important thing, but it only matters if you have a supply of drinkable water. Getting water is a really vital thing to be concerned with, but if you're out in a blizzard without a coat or a cave to hide in, kinda doesn't matter because you're gonna die if you don't find shelter anyway. For our purposes, we're gonna assume that we're living in a Fallout world like Fallout 4 and stepping out into the wide world in the middle of the United States in about October. It can get chilly out, but there's places to hide like abandoned suburban houses, so we're going to be skipping.
There are a lot of houses in Fallout 4 that are just abandoned, but you can't go in them. And I hate it because one area, a hospital I'm trying to get into, because it's unexplored and it's just surrounded by explored areas, I can't find a way into it. I found a way that goes into like a basement area, but the only problem is that I'm behind a locked door, so I can't get through. So yay! But if I fire, if I make a noise, it attracts enemies, and enemies are down there. So I know there's a way down there. I just can't find it if I go around the building. And then if I go next to the hospital next door that's connected, there's no way to get to the other building. So what the heck?
Past ice water and extreme weather in our list and focus on water, which, if you think about it, is pretty apropos. Water is a precious resource in the Fallout franchise, since in many regions of the United States it remains contaminated by radioactive materials, and the entire, inciting incident of Fallout 3 is the prospect of providing clean water to the entirety of the Metro DC area because, whew, that place really needs it. It is in rough shape. The human body needs access to, bare minimum, 2 liters of water per day in order to stay fully functional. This is an estimate, and you'll probably need more if you're out there manually hunting and gathering, and you might be thinking, great, water! There's water all over the United States, especially Boston. There's water there, there's water there, there's water there. I'm just gonna scoop some up and Don't do that, you idiot! I forgot to mention the most important thing. You are going to die someday. Yes, you right now watching this video, you are mortal and you are going to die. It's not super important that you process all the implications of that, but it is important that you keep in mind.
Let's see, getting shot by raiders, getting shot by gunners, getting destroyed by a savage deathclaw, getting eaten by mole rats, getting bit by rad roaches, by blood-sucking, whatever those things are. They're just giant mosquitoes, to be quite honest. That swan. I found a swan in Fallout 4. But it's not a swan. The swan boat is on it, but I don't know if that was the boat or its actual swan, but I don't care. That thing threw things at me. It threw rocks at me so hard it broke my armor. Oh, and I tried to repair my power armor. A gunner found me and took the armor. to attack me. So the armor was completely useless then. At that point, I just threw a grenade down and just waited to die. Because I'm not going to do that. I can't even run without the power armor. That's how much stuff I have on me. Well, I was a hoarder when it came to random junk when I was a kid, so I'm still a kid. Whatever.
Find right now with all of our medical advances, antibiotics, antivirals, hand washing, IV drips, shock paddles, everything.
They're all gone.
You are still going to die. What's gonna kill you? Disease. That's right, disease. The #1 killer of human beings since literally forever. And since in a post-apocalyptic and or any other survivalist setting, doctors and hospitals are, to put it mildly, lacking, the main name of the game is risk reduction. And drinking water straight out of the earth, even if you ignore all the radioactive waste floating in it, is taking a big risk. Fresh water is full of millions of microorganisms per cubic centimeter, most of which are actually harmless, but several that can be downright fatal under the right circumstances. Like, yeah, maybe if you're feeling squirrely in 2020, you can go out into Lake Michigan and take a big old scoop of water right into your mouth. I wouldn't recommend it, but you could do it, and you'd probably be fine. And if you weren't, you could go to the hospital. And heck, you may not even have to go to the hospital. Maybe you'll just be sick for a few days and then recover on your own. And in the modern era where you don't really have to do much work to survive, where you've got tap water from the faucet and refrigeration keeping your frozen burritos edible, a case of dysentery or diarrhea or fatigue from your body fighting off an infection it definitely sucks, but it's manageable. But when your very survival depends upon your ability to get off the ground, find food, find water, the tiniest hiccup in your productivity could be the thing that snowballs out of control. You're too tired to get enough calories, which makes you too tired to get more calories tomorrow, which makes you too tired to get more the next day, and all of a sudden, boom, you are dead. This is the problem you want to avoid at all costs, because the stakes associated with failure in a survivalist setting are dramatically higher than they are in your normal 2020 life. Dysentery? Dead. Bit by a raccoon? Rabies. You're dead. Stepped on a nail? Tetanus, son. You're dead, deadity, dead. The whole world wants to kill you, and you are like a soft little baby. So, water. Potable water. It is a real challenge in a resource-poor environment. There are some things you can do if you can find a waterproof and fireproof container, though, like a pot or a pan, which is you can boil your water over a fire, which, starting fires is its own whole thing. If you can start a fire, you can boil water, which, if you're at or around sea level, a rolling boil for a solid minute will kill pretty much everything in the water. This only solves our first problem, however, which is microbes, which will do you for a bit, but you have to remember a few things. One, several types of microbes and algae can actually release toxins as a part of their biology, which will make water undrinkable no matter how much you boil it, which is one of the reasons you can't just throw moldy meat in the oven for 10 hours and eat it. But what's more pressing is the relatively high level.
I just found that area. Like, I'm literally exploring the Commonwealth, and I just found that area now.
Of radioactive heavy metals floating in the water. This is bad for you for two reasons. One is that heavy metals can accumulate in your body and cause severe neurological damage all on their own. And two, the radiation these metals release will irreversibly damage nearby cells, which, at the best case scenario, gives you cancer in the long term. And the worst case scenario is it causes acute total organ failure. Boiling water might be a solution for the first couple of days, but in the long term, you're going to need a better way to get clean water. There's also collecting rainwater.
Okay, I'm going to skip through this ad, even though it's only 15 minutes, so I'll be right back. All right, and yes, I know I just said 15 minutes instead of 15 seconds. My apologies. All right.
Water and snowfall to drink, but that brings with it a whole host of other problems, like how clean is your container, and you also have to rely on water deciding to fall out of the sky for you, which during droughts can mean you're super dead. What you need is a way to produce clean water anytime, any day, and under any conditions, which is where the most powerful fire in the entire solar system comes in to save the day: the sun. The sun is a practically inexhaustible source of energy, and even without high technology solar panels, we can still harvest it for our purposes by creating something called a solar still, which works by taking the raw power of the sun and using it to evaporate water. And they are really, really easy to build. All you have to do is get 2 bottles, plastic, glass, doesn't really matter, and you put your dirty, nasty water in one bottle, connect it to the other one, and then you just angle them slightly and you're done. And here's basically how it works. The energy from the sun blasts the surface of the water, heating it up and increasing its rate of evaporation. The water vapor then rises into the second empty bottle and condenses to form water droplets. You can actually make this more efficient by putting something dark underneath the dirty water side and covering the clean water side so that it stays relatively cooler. And you might be asking, but Austin, won't radioactive materials and bacteria and stuff be lifted up with the water vapor and make it into your clean supply? And the answer to that question is absolutely, positively not. While we like to think of viruses, bacteria, and dust as very small and light, when you're looking at them on a microscopic scale, they're not even remotely comparable. Bacteria are orders of magnitude smaller than dust particles and are orders of magnitude larger than viruses, and all of them are orders of magnitude larger than water vapor. And it's really easy to see why when you just think about it for a few minutes. A virus, even a really tiny one, is made up of multiple chemicals strung together in a chain. Water vapor, though, is just like 2 hydrogen atoms and an oxygen atom floating in the air. On these scales, it's like saying that a freaking, Geo Metro convertible will be carried off into the air by the updraft caused from a rising helium balloon. Is the car small? Almost comically small? Yes, but it's still so much heavier than a balloon filled with helium that it's not even useful to compare the two. So no matter what, as long as there isn't a chemical in there that evaporates faster than water, the water in the clean side is only going to be as dirty as the bottle itself, which, I don't know, if you can, maybe use your first batch of distilled water and mix it with some white ashes from burnt wood and any natural fat you can find, even if it's from roadkill, to create a rudimentary soap. That would go a long way to making sure your water container was as clean as possible. Anyway, all that aside, you can use just the sun to turn practically any water, yes, even salt water, into clean, potable drinking water using simply
And if you do it with salt water, you get salt as a bonus.
2 bottles taped together. There! I solved your problem. Okay, these bottles are really tiny. How much water can you really get out of this, though? Because the rate of evaporation isn't dependent upon the volume of water you have. It's dependent on your surface area exposed to the sun, meaning that a thin, chunky bottle that's gonna be, really inefficient at absorbing sunlight, right? Let's just use some math to figure it out real quick. Measuring a Nuka-Cola bottle in-game to get a cross-sectional area, we get an area exposed to the sun of about 31 square centimeters, with a potential evapotranspiration rate of 3.4544 centimeters per month in Boston during October on average. That gives us, in a 31-day month, an average of 1.11 millimeters of evaporation on exposed surfaces per day, which, given a low surface area of only 31 square centimeters, means that a Nuka-Cola bottle will provide, well, that can't be right, only 0.0035 milliliters per day of drinkable water? That means you need, over 2 million bottles of Nuka-Cola working every single day to harvest the water you need? Well, that's garbage. Okay, so what if we use an actual sun still and just assume the best case scenario going on? Actual sun stills built efficiently can produce approximately 2.5 liters per square meter of surface area with an exposed area of 0.0031 meters. That means that our bottles, under ideal conditions, would produce 8 milliliters of water per day. That's better, but you'd still need about 500 Nuka-Cola bottles to get even close to the amount of potable water you'd need. Why are people pushing sun stills made from bottles as though they're a decent source of water? They are actual trash. Okay, crap, you might die. You're gonna die. I think that's clear now. There's not really a lot that I can do for you. Okay. Think, Austin. You spend years gathering survivalist knowledge to keep yourself alive, and the people are depending on you. Okay. Well, we got something. This isn't a desert island. It's Fallout, and there's houses everywhere. So what you want to do is find a house, any house that has an intact window, and you want to carefully remove the window from the house. Hopefully, you can find a saw or a hammer and just bash the frame out. Then you want to, if you can, build a box and use the window as a lid, but put a bit of a slope on it too while you're at it. You want to make this box as watertight as possible because you're going to need to fill it with terrible water. But the great thing is that if you do it right, this really wide surface area is going to be a lot more efficient at gathering heat from the sun, and your liters per hour of harvestable water is going to increase dramatically. About 1 window per person who needs water will do you just about, and you slope it so that when the water vapor hits the surface of the window and condenses, it will run down, hopefully to a bucket or something you have. You did remember to find a bucket, right? You're gonna need something to collect the water. This will do you for a time, but what you really want to do is make your own fire-powered still out of clay, because that is A, cleaner as long as you do it right, and B, will work no matter what resources you have around you, because in order to make clay, all you need to do is... What's that? We're out of time? Well, I was just about to tell them how to make their own kiln for firing clay. This episode's already getting too long? I mean, maybe I could... no, I've been talking too much about water? If enough people watch the video, I'm allowed to do a video just on how to make your own clay and form it into things like bowls, water stills, and kilns. Okay, cool. And maybe I can even get into how salt glazes work. Hopefully, there's not an actual apocalypse between now and then. Maybe I can also teach them how to make soap. Oh, this video really went off the rails. I guess, the point is, if the apocalypse happens, you're probably gonna die. You might be able to build your own solar-powered water still for completely clean water, but you're probably gonna die anyway. I mean, there's literally radioactive zombie bears. You have no chance. Just like do your best to not get stranded on a desert island or survive a nuclear apocalypse. I guess that is the message of the video. And frankly, you don't need all those complicated water purification devices that you see in the Fallout games. I guess that's the two morals of this story. Sincerely, Austin. And before I go, I want to give a personal shout out to my high-tier patrons, Mazerf, Siggy, Nick Patterson, Nicholas Spillinger, Dan Robb, Adadam TP, Royal Gaming 16, Francis Gagnon, Draven Stanley, Marissa Resnick, Jared Beecher, and Adam Barber.
Okay. That was very interesting. I keep forgetting his videos are short. I'm gonna have to react to this next, but because honestly I don't see how it could be a paradise, but whatever. Well, that was the only way to survive Fallout. I'm gonna hope it's a part 1 of 2 or 3. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment what you want me to react to next, and subscribe. That's it. I will see you in the next video.